good, people? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. First things first, Shawn Porter didn't win that fight, people. He did not win that fight. I'm a Shawn Porter fan, but he didn't win that fight. He didn't. I'm not calling it a robbery. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but he didn't win that fight nonetheless. Boxing is very simple to score if you just have a pen and pad next to you and you just score every round after you've seen it. Not, you know, there's a lot of people that for some reason after fights, I used to do this as well, to be fair, after fights, like, oh, I don't know. Well, you do know, just add up your scorecard. Maybe you haven't done a scorecard. Just score every single round. That round was Shawn Porter's, 10-9. That round was not Shawn Porter's, 9-10. It's very, very simple to do. I scored that fight 116-112. Shawn Porter didn't win that fight. I mean, I could have maybe given it 115-113. So I've given it a 4-round, 2-round or 3-round swing to Ugas, which for me means he comfortably won that fight. Shawn Porter didn't. So it wasn't a split decision. Shawn Porter shouldn't be the WBC welterweight champion. I don't know what Shawn Porter was doing in that fight. I really don't. Having watched Shawn Porter for a number of years, that was unlike any Shawn Porter performance I've ever seen. I have to be honest with you. Shawn Porter is the guy that is aggressive. He's a guy that pushes the pace. He's a guy that is a nightmare to fight, like just horrible, does everything. That wasn't Shawn Porter. I don't know if they were nervous because of the problems in making weight. I don't know if they maybe thought that the gas tank is going to run empty, or if they were just giving far too much respect to their opponent. But that wasn't Shawn Porter. Hence why people started booing. People were booing during the fight. And I was like, my God, I've never heard people boo during a Shawn Porter fight, because Shawn Porter always gives you good action. If they're going to try and change Shawn Porter's style now, at this late stage of his career, then they've made a mistake. Because that Shawn Porter is not going to get through fights against the likes of a Keith Thurman rematch, or they're talking about Pacquiao, or dare say Spence. It's just not going to happen. He's got to go back to that aggressive pitbull style. That's the style that he is known for. That's the style that makes him win fights. That's the style that the fans like. Fans don't like that. Hence why he had a lot of boos during the fight. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Shawn Porter next. He's calling for the big fights, but we're not calling for them. I'm not uber excited to see Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman again. Especially after that yesterday, I'm not excited to see Shawn Porter versus Pacquiao. Or they're talking about Shawn Porter versus Crawford, or Shawn Porter versus Spence. He's the one guy that has a belt, and no one's actually interested in seeing him versus any of the other champions. It's true. That's not me being negative about the situation, but it's true. All you constantly hear is Keith Thurman versus Crawford, or Spence versus Crawford, or Spence versus Thurman. We don't hear about Shawn Porter, and he's got a belt. And yesterday was a chance to put a marker down, put on a good performance. Let us bring your name into the equation. And right now, we've now removed your name from that equation, 100%. Not just because the performance was bad, but because you didn't win the fight. I have to keep going back to it. You did not win that fight. Again, not going to call robbery. I've seen some worse decisions in boxing over my years, but he didn't win that one. For Ugas, is it Ugas or Ugas? I thought his punch output was pretty low. It was a good performance nonetheless, but I thought his punch output was low. And I felt like he missed an opportunity. I felt like Shawn Porter was there for the taking, and there were times when they were just standing off each other. And I was like, what's going on here? Like literally, there was times in that fight where for about 10 seconds, 20 seconds even, they were just standing off each other and watching. It reminded me a bit of Street Fighter. I don't know if you guys played the arcade machine Street Fighter. And just before they start, you got Ken and Ryu are doing this. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, why is no one throwing punches? So for you guys, he's going to look back at that performance, and he will watch the tape, and he might be thinking, shit, I missed opportunities here. Just to kind of rubber stamp it, I missed opportunities. But yeah, again, look, nonetheless, he won the fight, but he doesn't go home with the belt. But he does go home with a lot of respect. He's now established himself as a top welterweight, and he will get other fights. He will get big fights. He's very big at the weight as well. He looks huge, especially at the weigh-in. So he's a big welterweight, but his punch output needs to be a lot better. But this was his first real big fight. I know he's had other fights and he's had losses, but this is his first real big fight. So I wonder if he was a bit nervous coming into the ring. But nonetheless, a good performance. But he doesn't go home with the wonderful WBC belt. Shawn Porter does. And again, it's going to be interesting what's next for Shawn Porter, because, again, no one wants to see him in big fights right now. No one wants to see him in big fights. So I do wonder if they might do a Danny Garcia rematch. Danny Garcia fights, when does Danny Garcia fight? 20th of April, something along those lines? if Danny Garcia comes through that one, I wonder if that's what the route they're going to take. But not a good performance by Shawn Porter at all. And in a time and a division where we need good performances, that wasn't one. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.